Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So I just want to make a quick video to comment once again about the education system. So one thing I've noticed is the education system has actually beaten our ability to think logically out of us. Because as somebody who teaches maths and sciences, and it is ever increasing the amount of maths and science that I have to teach, I've noticed that when I'm talking to students as a whole, from all my experience, that there is this thing where they have been programmed to think more about how to do well, like how to impress an examiner, how to do whatever, that their ability to utilize logic, which is actually the thing that makes, in my opinion, sciences and maths easier, it dulls their ability to do that. So in my lessons, right, with students, I don't really have to tell them a lot. I ask them questions like, what do you think you do next? Have you noticed what this says? Yada, yada, yada. But one thing that I say the most is when a student says, I don't know how to do this, I say, what logically do you think you should do? Don't worry about like, well, I don't know. When I was in class, my last teacher said, I'm like, what do you think logically? Logically, what would you do here? Kid you not, it always works. It always works. So I'm like, what are they teaching in schools? And I know because I've been in school. They teach you all of these specific methods and specific way to do stuff because we're all being groomed and prepared to work in these big, huge machines run by big corporations so that you just go and work for them. They break your spirit so you don't think that you can capable of anything in life, right? And you just try to get the best at what you can, and then they scoop you in, right? And then you hate your job for the rest of your life, right? And you hate life and you look forward to only 2 days of the week. Yeah, that's what they're doing in school. Because I won't notice when I talk to the students, I'm like, just think logically. Because how I prepare the students is I prepare them for, if I was never there, if no one was ever there, when you're in an exam situation, your teachers, none of us teachers are there, your parents aren't there, no one's there. So let's prepare for that situation when you are on your own, how you're going to deal with these problems. Right. And I've noticed that that's part of the issues that some people see in kids, young people today, is a lack of ability of problem solving and just being able to figure stuff out, a lot of panicking rather than doing, because I'm not somebody that panics. I'm somebody that in a situation, you won't catch me panicking, and I don't crack under pressure. I will hone in and I'll find a solution. That's how I am. Right. And that's how I try to teach the kids to be in their questions, because that's a lifestyle. To me, that's a lifestyle of living. If you're stuck in a situation, you're stuck with a problem, focus, what's the most logical thing you can do right now, right? Especially when it's to do with, like I say, maths and science, these types of problem solving level subjects. So I realized that kids have been so programmed to not be able to use logic. Because when I tell them use logic, and it always happens, they'll be like, well, I was thinking, and then they'll half say it, and they'll be like, but I think I'm like, wait, what was that thing you just said? And it's always that thing that they thought. The first thing that they thought is actually the thing they should have done. When they're trying to remember what another teacher said, or they're trying to remember what they saw in a textbook one day, it's the wrong thing. And I realized this is the problem with the education system. This is why people struggle with maths and science, because you're not taught to be a logical thinker, a logical problem solver. This is what I teach the kids. I say to them, be a detective. Like every question, you got to think, look at the information that's in front of you, put it together, piece it together, use logic. Pull the answer out of the question. Like literally pull the answer out of the question by just taking in what the question is telling you, right? And this is a new technique I've developed for this season's of lessons. This is my new thing, right? And it's shocking, because ever since I started doing this new way of like doing these, getting the students to get the answer to the questions, I'm like, pull the answer out of the question. I'm like, anyone can do this, actually, with logical steps, if they can trust in their logic. And I found that that's the hardest thing for the students to do, is to trust in their logic, because they've been broken down. They've been made to feel like they're not smart. Like a lot of people experience that in school. They don't have confidence, because you have to have confidence in maths and science. You have to confidently follow logic in order to do well. You have to confidently follow logic, because sometimes with a lot of questions, it doesn't look like what you have to do. You can't tell what you have to do. You just have to start and keep following logical steps, and then eventually you'll notice you get the answer. You're not going to necessarily always be able to see exactly what you have to do, right? So you have to have the confidence in your logic that this is the thing that makes the most sense to do. This is the most logical step. I'm going to do it, and then do the next one, and then do the next one. And before you know it, you've got the answer to the question. And so, yeah, I just find this absolutely insane. I find this absolutely insane. And I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I've just been observing that I spend most of my lessons like almost rewiring these kids' brains to let them know that, hey, trust in your logic. Be logical. And one of my students even said it back to me. She was like, when I was doing my homework, I did exactly what you said. You said be logical. So I was logical and I got this. And I was like, damn right you did. Damn right, because that's what you should be doing, because that's what you should be taught. But they're not going to teach you that in school, because they don't want you to be able to think for yourself. Because when you tap into that type of logic where you can understand for yourself, that means your possibilities of your understanding is infinite. They don't want that, because that doesn't suit the world system. They want you to be boxed in at a certain level. They want your spirit to be broken so they can tell you who you are and they can tell you what you're capable of. That's what they're trying to do. And that's why I even say to the students, hey, I'm not going to promise you're going to be this high or this low. How about we just say, let's just shoot for the maximum level that we can and go with that. I don't do none of this, oh, we're going to aim for this grade. I think you're at this grade. I don't do that. I have my own perceived grades that I think of the students or whatever. And I would never, and as in when I have my own perceived grades, I mean like my own goals, usually as far as what their parents are saying, because again, parents are the bane of my life. I'm not going to lie to you, because parents say horrible things to their kids. Like, oh, they're not working hard enough. I'm like, your kids in private school, they're in private school from 8:30 in the morning till 6. And then they're still doing extra education, extra tuition, extra revision and everything after they get home. Your kid is doing way more than they need to. Like, give them a freaking break, for goodness sake. You know what I'm saying? So I get very frustrated when it comes to the parents. I'm not going to lie. The parents ruin it for me a lot of the time, because I'm just like, why are we torturing kids? Like, why are we doing that? Why are we torturing kids? Why are we blaming them when it's actually the adults? When even some of the kids were telling me, my students was telling me that one of their other teachers can't even just teaches everything straight out of the textbook, right? Well, no, not straight out of the textbook. They try to hide basically the teachers, and I've seen this myself, a lot of teachers do just teach straight from the textbook. They can't actually give you the understanding with this maths and science stuff. They just regurgitate stuff to you. So they can't break it down to actually explain. And I have to do my own independent extra study outside of school myself to be able to explain to the kids, because I wasn't taught it in school either. When I did my degree, I was taught a lot of stuff, but a lot of stuff I've had to do my own independent study because I was never taught it in school myself, right? So I'm just saying that, guys. I'm just saying that, school has destroyed our ability to think logically as people. That's what I'm convinced about. And not even just to think logically, but to trust in our logic. It's created an insecurity in us that whatever actually makes logical sense in our brain is the thing we would rather question than illogical things that we are being taught, or methods that are unnecessary, because there's a lot of unnecessary methods being taught in school. And sometimes when I listen to some of my students, they tell me what their other teachers have taught them. I'm like, why were you taught that in this method? They're like, I don't know, the teacher told us we could only do it this way. I'm like, why? Because I read the specifications. I read the exam board specifications, because I have to teach from them. It doesn't say that in your specifications, so why is the teacher telling you only have to do it that way? You see what I'm saying? And it's just ridiculous. And again, with the sciences and maths, there are multiple methods to do a lot of questions, because that's how it is. Depends which route you take to get to the answer. So and I've noticed, I know everybody clicks with a different method differently. And I learn new methods all the time from the kids. As long as you get from A to B, that's the beauty of maths and science. That's why I find maths and science safety, because I know that there is an actual specific answer that we're all trying to get to. And if you show you're working and you do it properly, you get there. You know what I'm saying? So whereas other subjects like English, where it's like, explain how the theme of mourning was conveyed in chapter 17. I'm just like, oh, for goodness sake, give me a break. Like, I'd rather find out what the algebraic expression for this is or something. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what I realized. The education system not only beats the logic out of us, but makes us insecure of logic. And if you think about that, and if you stew on that, you can realize how that has a actually horrifically problematic exponential effect on society. Because then overall, if we're all always second guessing our own logic and second guessing logic, that means illogical things become seemingly logical, because they're the opposite of the thing that we're insecure about, therefore become secure about it. And there are so many illogical things in society that we are now standing in agreement with. If you think about it, so many illogical things in society that we've allowed because we are insecure or unconfident in logic. Gender being a perfect example. I hate to go there, but I have to go there because I have to be honest. That's a perfect example. Biologically, there are two genders. That's how it is. It's not me trying to hate anybody. That's the biology. That's the logic. The logic is, if you go around all the humans, right? If I get completely naked and a man gets completely naked, we're not going to look the same, are we? No, we're not. And our bodies just happen to happen that way, right? I have eggs in my own womb at this point in time. Talk to the male community. They don't have wombs, right? Hello, I have XY chromosomes. Do I have XY? I have XX chromosomes. The gentlemen have XY chromosomes. In fact, the eggs don't even produce XY. They only produce XX, which means even the gender is decided by the XY, by the sperm. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Logic. But we have been created, part of school has helped to indoctrinate us and to stop us from thinking logically. So we abandon logic. We abandon logic because we become insecure in our logic, which opens us up to put trust in illogical thinking. Because that's what happens with me and the students. They'll be doing a question and it'll be simple. We've just done the same method 20 times for 20 questions. This question is slightly more difficult because they're trying to remember some method or they have a lack of security and surety in logic. They'll make an illogical step and I'll be like, why would you do that? Oh, because I thought this and I thought that. I was like, but what did you do in the last question when you had to do that? Oh, I did this and I did that and I did that. So why have you changed it now? Oh, I thought it might be different because no, it's the same thing. Follow your logic and stick to logic. So I feel like I should just become a lecturer in logic at this point. Should I just start teaching logic? Should we just do logic school or something, guys? Because I'm just like, wow. I spend a lot of my lessons just teaching kids in maths and science who are definitely capable by my estimations, which I think everybody really is if they were taught it in a different way. That's why I actually like teaching, because I'm teaching the way that it should have been taught when I was not the way a lot of it was taught to me. Some of it was. My best teachers were maths and chemistry when I was in high school, secondary school. When I got to sixth form, it's another story. My maths teacher was horror. If it wasn't for him, I probably would have done maths and chemistry or just pure mathematics. Actually, that was my goal at first. I was going to study pure mathematics at university. I wish I did. If I could have done 1/3 chemistry, 1/3 physics, 1/3 maths, that would have been chef's kiss. But anyways, I just want to let you guys know that this is what's going on, because I feel like I should let the world know, right? I should let the world know that this is what's going on. These are my observations as somebody teaching the youth of today, which the world has so much to say about. They're really being taught to be illogical thinkers. And that's what's preventing them. That's why everybody thinks maths and chemistry and physics and all this is the hardest subjects. It's the same thing I hear all the time. Every time I meet someone, oh, we're looking for somebody to help with maths. Oh, we're looking for somebody to help with chemistry. Oh, the schools, oh, we need more maths teachers. We need more chemistry teachers. Duh! Because the kids aren't being taught that. The thing that they're being taught is to be illogical, not logical. And these subjects, in order to be good at them, require your use of logic. And if you can tap into your use of logic, they actually become easier than the other subjects. Because that's what always happens to me with the students is before they've ever had any lessons with me or been taught by me, their other subjects are their favorite. And then after a while, with me, 6 to 9 months down the line, I always ask them in the beginning, what's your favorite subject? All of that, because I like to know. I like to get to know what they're doing, what their career path is, right? And then I'll ask them 6, 9 months, 12 months down the line, what's your favorite subject? Well, actually, and they always say it shyly, like, well, actually, to be honest, yeah, chemistry has become my favorite subject. I'm like, yeah, of course it is. Of course, chemistry is your favorite subject. It's good, right? I told you. Anyways, guys, if life's a game, let's play to win. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Just thought I would share that. Thought you guys might be interested. Anyways, I love you all. God bless you all. And I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.